Welcome, everyone. Welcome, my friends. I am codenamed Fulcrum. You can also just call me Nick. We have a very special guest today. I'm excited to get to talk to her. But again, before we get started too far, make sure you like this video so it actually gets pushed out there. And yeah, I've got a setup. I'm now like on the other side, so it'll actually look like I'm talking to the person this week. But thank you again. I see we've got John, we've got Margot, and I'm sure we've got other people out there as well. There's already complaints to HR. All right, that's perfect. But before I go any further, I'm going to bring out our special guest. All the chats are there. Oh, and we got Sarah. Awesome. But let's give a warm welcome to Laryssa, also known as Sunflower Stardust. Hello.
Hey Nick, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Secret Transmissions. You already have fans in the chat. It's great.
Oh boy.
No, well, people who enjoy your content. Let me say
Okay.
that versus fans. I know it's weird to be on social media and like you make videos and then there's fans, and that's kind of odd.
Yeah, it's just all one big community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I got to meet you briefly at Star Wars Celebration last year.
Yes.
I mean, it was craziness. So like getting to talk to anybody at that point. But before we get too far, I know it says Sunflower Stardust, but that's where we can find you on pretty much all the socials, right?
Yes. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Awesome. So what obviously you are, I've got some stuff set up here. One of the people you are most known for when it comes to the characters that you've created is, of course, Dolores.
Yes.
I know it's awkward to like see yourself there. But as far as how you got started on social media and kind of developing Star Wars content, like how did that come about?
So it was 2020, and like a bunch of people at that time. I think I met you a little bit later. I think we met in 2021 on TikTok.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, a bunch of us were getting on TikTok in like May of 2020 and just bored in the house with nothing to do. And so we had these closets full of Star Wars costumes that we're not wearing anywhere. And my good friend Jen Markham, she started making these videos, and I just thought they were really clever. And so I started attempting to do them also.
So were you doing cosplay before TikTok?
Yes, I was. I am in the Rebel Legion and in the 501st. I have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have 4 Jyn Erso costumes that have been neglected the last couple of years. But
I mean, I've seen pictures of your Jyn Erso because you have a couple different looks. You've got like the classic Jyn Erso. You've got the undercover in the Rebel base Jyn Erso.
yeah, Grand Crew Jyn. Yeah, that's a fun one.
And you have the look down. I mean, you've got the look. I mean, like I basically have like 2 options. I've got like Captain Rex or like Lobot.
Oh, okay.
Those are my options. I know. Well, the joke was in one of the earlier podcasts is that like if I just do this, then suddenly I'm Lobot.
Oh, okay.
And
that is perfect.
I know it doesn't like I don't even need to actually. There was some guy at this year's celebration that like had a Lobot, but literally made like the actual headset so it does all the beeps and the lights and stuff like that. I do not have that technical acumen for
Man,
that.
I don't even know how. Like, I still don't understand how they did that back in like the late 70s when they built that. Because now with LEDs it makes sense, but back then, like,
Yeah.
I just blows my mind.
So in doing that, how did you progress as far as you're making videos and because it's when I joined TikTok, I was kind of all over the place. It was a bit of dance, a bit of Star Wars, a bit of this and that, and then eventually I was like, well, I've got dance for other stuff. I might as well do Star Wars. But it took me a while to kind of find my stride, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How did you go about finding yours?
So I guess it took a while. It took like it's still an ongoing process, but by the spring of 2021, episodic style skits were everywhere, usually in the form of like customer service. Drew Talbert does great waiter skits on Instagram and TikTok, and there's a bunch of girls that do hairstylist skits, and so that was everywhere. And I thought it'd be great to do something kind of like that, but in Star Wars. And so that's when Dolores was already a character that I kind of had, but I wasn't doing much with her. And so I was like, well, maybe she could work in HR, and she could like take complaints from people, or she could, but be really dismissive about it. So I started making skits about that, but then it's kind of grown in the last year. Now that cons are back, she's definitely more of a con character than like I ever thought she would be.
Oh my gosh, Dolores is blowing up. I mean, you've got people requesting to be written up, and like, don't you like occasionally like have postcards to send out as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I just started that. If someone can't make it to a convention, I do mail out citations. They're currently in the form of a postcard, so it's just the citation on the back, so everyone can see what you have been cited for when that postcard is in the mail.
That's amazing. That's very Empire. It's kind of like you're going to be held accountable.
Yes, well, maybe.
Maybe. That's true. You can always scoop. So Sarah was asking in the chat, what is your actual favorite cosplay of yours? What is your favorite cosplay?
Oh, probably the Ground Crew Jin. It's just such a classic look. It's like the cleanliness or the sleek lines of the Empire, but it's the rebel that is just a rebel and brings about all this change. And Jyn Erso is my favorite, so I have to say Ground Crew Jin.
And that's the one with the the two little like whatever batons or whatever they are.
Yeah,
is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's great. We have Chris. Hey, Chris, Star Wars lawyer. Hello.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Have we here? How you doing, Chris? That's good. Yeah. So actually, before we get too far, because I know there's a lot of Dolores fans, let's actually take a look at just like one of the videos. We're gonna do little Han Solo one.
My shift is over in 2 minutes, and I can go into the spa.
Is that a blaster training exercise?
No, those were postponed indefinitely. Hey, what's going on down there?
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
What happened?
It's like weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
I'd be a lot better if I was in a back-to-bubble bath with a glass of old Iranian wine. But since you had a weapons malfunction, we're going to be doing some paperwork. All right, I'm going to need you to fill out a near-miss incident report detailing everything that went wrong and then how the MIT made a
Negative. We have a reactor leak here. Now, give us a few minutes to lock it down. Large leak, very dangerous.
Okay, well then I also need you to fill out an exposure incident report. Know the time, date, place, and then check yourself in to the nearest med bag. An attitude like that, I hope he throws himself in the garbage chute.
Should we check on that?
No, there's a very dangerous large leak. I'm going to the spa.
It's so awkward to watch yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to sit there and watch yourself. You're kind of like, I can't watch this. I see all the flaws in everything I do. But actually, before I get too far, how do you end up going about filming those?
So, blue screen, this one right here. I film. I try to film a couple of Dolores skits every time I'm in Dolores. So I'll film all of the Dolores angles, and then I'll have to decide. I don't have that many other costumes to choose from, so it's usually the biker scout or like a TIE reserve or a TIE with their helmet off, and then I'll change into that, and then I'll do the other side.
I mean,
so
you have more costumes than a lot of people do for filming this. I have to go. Yeah, my stock is limited. I've got like a couple jet. Well, I do a Captain Rex. So I've got my Captain Rex cosplay, but like I need like somebody to help me get in and out of everything because I can't do it myself. So I have a limited amount of videos I've done with that because it takes a whole lot of effort, and I have to convince somebody to help me for a day.
Oh yeah, but it looks fantastic though. It's worth all the effort.
I've done 2 different cons with it. The first one, John in the chat helped me out. It's basically my handler for the day. Like it was so much so where I can't even reach my head because it's got to be accurate. So like I just have no mobility because it's animation accurate. Phase 2 with that. So like I need a handler because I can't do anything, and I can't even get the helmet on and off. I have to have somebody
really?
for that. Yeah. I see some people with their clone trooper armor or even stormtrooper, and like they just have no problem, and I'm like, I'm so jealous every single time with that. I just need to start choosing cosplays that are a little bit easier.
Is it still true that, like, with all the shows that have come out now, is it still true that we've only ever seen clone, like, no one has actually worn clone armor on camera? Is it still true?
Until Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, that's
Obi-Wan Kenobi is the first one. So we had Tamara Morrison, just kind of in like the down on his luck clone trooper, and then we had the Order 66 flashbacks again. Dave Filoni.
Oh, that's right.
Every single time. And now with the Ahsoka series coming up, are we going to see it again? Really? I don't think so, but that's always the joke. We got Sarah, who's like commenting on. Sarah was my other handler for Rex at WonderCon this year. But she dressed up as Ahsoka and got far more attention than I did, which was hilarious.
That's a good pairing, though. Rex and Ahsoka.
I know. Yeah. I mean, that's the duo. But oh gosh. Oh yeah. So the Clone Troopers, we finally saw them in Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that was the first time. Because before that, it was always CGI. But yeah, I'm sure they could get their helmets on and off with that design. Before we go too far, I would like to actually play. You mentioned going to the cons and handing out citations, but let's take a look at one of those videos. I believe this is C2E2.
Oh yeah, this was Certificates of Excellence. A little bit different. This is positive.
Oh, Certificate of Okay, this is positive. Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Trooper. I'm with Human Resources. I wanted to give you a certificate of Imperial Excellence for hitting the target. Nice. Lord Vader. Certificate of Excellence for altering the deal. For surviving a night on Endor. Dolores? Just wanted to congratulate you for whatever it is you do in the ISB. Thank you very much. Governor Price, for being most impressive. Mr. Moff Gideon,
Yes.
for carrying on the legacy of the Empire. Appreciate all that you do.
Oh, yes. I am still alive.
Yes. Thank you.
When did you start doing Certificates of Excellence?
So far, that's only been a C2E2 thing. It's just something to try to switch it up a little bit, like a similar idea, but more hopeful, optimistic. Even though Dolores explains at some point that it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just to lift people's spirits. And that Moff Gideon cosplayer, really nice guy. We didn't know each other before that. He's gotten so much. People got onto him for folding the certificate at the very end. So,
and I'm sure he wasn't even thinking about it. It's kind of like, fold it so I can actually put it, carry it with me.
No,
when you're, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's probably just habit being a cosplayer, just to do that.
Yeah, and I always feel bad. I don't want to give people something that they can't carry around. Like with some of the certificates, I was like, "Do you have anywhere to put that?" And they were like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it back."
But they make the video and it's just a fun little moment. Where is C2E2?
Chicago. It's at
Chicago.
the
Okay.
McCormick Place. Yeah.
It's always hard to tell because every convention center looks the same when you see videos.
Yeah, it's true.
How many cons have you been to with bringing characters to it?
Oh, that's a tough question. I've probably been to 10 or so, but that was before COVID, before Dolores and everything. I've been to 4 with Dolores so far, including one this past weekend in just north of Syracuse in New York.
Oh, where was this past weekend?
It was in Watertown, New York. It was a small convention, and it was super fun. There, Jen Markham was also there. Props to History was there.
Oh, that's right. I saw it. Yeah, you gave did you give a citation to Props to History?
Yes, for sharing Imperial secrets, because he's always talking about technology in his videos and how they did stuff.
Yeah, Sarah says, I bet you made their day by handing those out. Not the citations, the actual good ones. The Certificate of Excellence.
Yes.
Although getting, it's funny to hear people at conventions now like wanting to get a citation from Dolores. It's, it's like, what can we do to like get a citation?
Yeah, it's a little. It's I don't know. It's like a huge honor. I don't know, but it's so much fun, and that people are enjoying it and goofing off it's my favorite part about the Star Wars community.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we're just a
that.
bunch of nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, Sarah says she'd love to get a citation. Next time, Sarah. Yeah, but I'm sure you'll earn one. But are you a theater, like what is your, do you have any background in theater or any sort of performance, or is this just something you fell into?
Like when I was a kid, I was in a couple of plays, but nothing really major. I do work in video in real life, but not, but that's all like logistical stuff and editing and that kind of thing. So I feel like that helped a bit with making videos for TikTok. But
Yeah.
no, definitely not an actor or anything like that. I wish I was, because then I feel like everything could be a lot better. But no acting experience. How about you?
Yeah, I'm a theater kid. I
Okay.
actually graduated college with a theater degree, but part of that was like I actually wanted to go into film, and like going to USC in Los Angeles, and took a bunch of film classes. But then I also saw what the film industry was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know if that's for me. It was being in LA for that. It's interesting. So I had already gotten big into dancing as far as like obsession. So I just chose theater because that's what I had done all my life, and kept going with that. And thankfully the dance career worked out. But like during the pandemic, actually, a lot of the film and theater skills that I had worked out, because then like when my career just vanished overnight, like in like 2 days, I went into like a lot of producing shows online.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
fundraising
cool.
and stuff like that. So, like after like a couple months into it, did a whole big fundraiser for dancers and musicians, and we did had some live performances as well as some pre-recorded, but did a whole kind of like a PBS type of fundraising kind of thing. But for dancers, we raised like $100,000, and dancers
Oh
are
my
broke,
gosh.
so that's pretty good. I
Yeah,
would not be able
well,
to do that now. Once things opened up, it was that part was done.
what organization is that?
It was just something that just created because everybody was hurting. So we called it Rhythm Relief. I mean,
Okay.
the show is actually on YouTube
Oh,
still.
cool. That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and then of course, like I ended up producing some other fundraising or show stuff. We even went to an event and like turned one of the ballrooms into like a makeshift, like we MacGyvered a TV studio out of it. So
Oh,
we had to
wow.
like create and did a whole live show with it, which was fun to do, but it was stressful. I
Yeah,
definitely
that's a
got
lot of work.
yeah. I had to do a lot of editing ahead of time, and then basically we got like 4 hours of sleep a night for like a couple weeks. It was one of those types of things. I mean, yeah, somebody who works anywhere in film or wait, why is it? Oh, so I had somebody in the comment like, wait, why is HR in here? What did I do? Probably a lot. I I probably did something to earn Imperial HR
Yeah, secret
citations.
transmissions. I'm here to check it out.
That's true. I am calling this Secret Transmissions. It is quite literally because of Ahsoka and Fulcrum. Oh yeah, I just realized that I would be like really written up for all of this.
Yeah, probably
Thanks for
thrown in
pointing.
jail.
Probably. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how one of the ways I kind of survived over the pandemic. But then starting TikTok, I'm actually somewhat jealous that but it's also inspirational of you having like created characters and having a continual appearance and essentially evolving the story of a character, because That's something I've wanted to do. I just haven't had the focus to do it yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I understand completely what you're saying because I don't. I have more ideas than effort, and so
Oh yeah.
it's hard to like hone in on something and then like make yourself film with it, a few times a month even. But what would your character do?
I was thinking about that when like the last 2 days. I've been thinking like what interesting character could I have? And if you have any ideas out in the chat, I would like to know because I would love some inspiration. Because a lot of the skit videos I do don't necessarily get a lot of traction, but I enjoy doing them. But I think a lot of it is just I haven't necessarily found that niche as far as like how to go about it or like taking time to create a character. I mean, it's got to be something fun. I mean, obviously, I could always play up the bald thing, but but I don't know if it would be like somebody in the rebellion. Maybe a terrible Jedi.
Oh yeah, that could
Somebody
be.
who's a Jedi, just like not skilled at all.
Yeah,
And
that's
just
relatable too. Like just like a clumsy Jedi or something, or
because we always see the amazing Jedi, but like
right.
what happens if you're not that great?
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
I have Jedi outfit. Okay, that's okay. There's there's an idea. That's
Yeah.
I just have to be put on the spot to get the ideas.
Yeah, that could be a lot of like, hey, where's your lightsaber? It's training today.
Oh no.
Just like forgetting it or like went fishing with it and lost it or I don't know, just a
Yeah,
lot of fun
basically just
there.
I need like the Jedi and then the Jedi Masters. I just need really those two characters for the most part. Interesting. Okay. Now I've got some inspiration. Thank you.
Awesome.
As far as like bringing in other characters, how do you go about as far as I would say having something to play off of, bringing in other characters and dynamics? How do you go about creating those or thinking up the concepts for them?
That's a really good question. I tend to not think too much about the characters that she's playing off of. I probably should because it probably would be better. Just kind of like generic Imperial whatever. I have really enjoyed doing collaborations with BJ Wimpy, who's
Oh yeah.
he's like a legendary Palpatine on social media. So that's always a lot of fun because he's like so insanely talented because he is a real actor. He's an improv actor and he's just fantastic at all of it. So I enjoy working with him on videos, but of course it's like he records his piece, sends it to me, and then I edit it in, and so it's not exactly like playing off each other, but it's still a lot of fun. But in terms of like, I guess coming up with skit ideas, that's just a really good question. Sometimes it's just reading like a certain point of view books, or it can be like a tweet, like Mace Windu inspired a skit just based on a tweet that he like stuff like that. Anything can be a skit idea. It's just like thinking about mundane things that would happen in Star Wars, and then you try to just write it out in a way that is hopefully entertaining. I don't know. I don't actually know, but yeah, it's fun to try to figure out.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it's just you just get inspired. It's finding inspirations or something random that pops up. I would love like from a certain point of view like having Dolores come into something like that. I mean the Return of the Jedi one's coming out in like September, so you never know. But it's the random people you find, the stories that they tell in those. If you've never read any of the From a Certain Point of View, for those that are out there, the books so far are going through just the original trilogy, and it's telling like a chapter of a side character, just maybe somebody in the background. It's their story within this time period of like people in the cantina when all the stuff's going down in A New Hope, stuff like that. So like
Or
there
the
was
person.
even
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
there was even a TK421 and a Tarkin story that gets spicy.
Yeah, and there's also one in The Empire Strikes Back. I think the guy that walks, like when Han and Leia are fighting in the hallway, the guy that walks between them, like has his own story.
Yeah. And he like delivers people like coffee or something. Like it's something to do with that. And then when things happen, like he becomes kind of a hero in his own right.
You're right.
Yeah. Let's see that. Yeah, it's so Sarah was saying, although not paying attention to who you're playing off of seems very consistent with Dolores. That idea that being somewhat dismissive or being that HR person, there is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so unintentionally, I think you create a good vibe there.
Oh, cool.
I'll limit the compliments and I'll space them out as we go along. So there's only embarrassing moments on occasion. I'm the same way. I like attention when I want attention, but like if somebody's talking specifically about me, like I have no idea how to react.
Right.
Actually, let's dive into another video real quick. I'm gonna choose one. Here we go.
Yeah, hi, I'm here to defect. Okay. Who referred you? Dash, I'm his cousin, Skip. I got you down here, Skip. Thank you very much. You don't need me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? No need. I got your name right here, Skip Rendar. Imperial HR made me fill out a ton of paperwork, and then they said I never filled out the 401k form, so... We don't offer a 401k. Oh. But we have a craft beer fridge and a foosball table, and if you ride your bike on Tongs days, we can give you a calf punch card. This place has a great startup vibe. Yeah, we're trying to have some fun while we still can. I don't know what's going to catch up to us first, the Empire or the rate that we are burning through capital. What's going to happen? Speaking of which, would you like to become an angel investor? 10,000 credits get you a spot at the front of the hangar bay, and 20,000 credits gets you your very own Tauntaun. What happens if we relocate planets? Do I get to keep the Tauntaun? Yeah, unfortunately, those perks are not transferable. But we can offer you a lifetime supply of blue milk as long as you're in the rebellion. Okay. Wonderful. Will that be cashier's check or credits?
So as far as I've noticed you've been doing some more like Rebel Base videos, adding some of those in lately.
Yes, trying to bring back Marge. Marge is like Dolores's good guy counterpart. She's been around for a long time, but I've only made like 2 videos with her ever until this spring, and then I made 2 more, so hopefully she can come back a little bit more.
You're gonna have to lead up to like eventually Marge and Dolores having an interaction someday.
Yeah, that definitely needs to happen.
Don't know when that would be, but it's got to be a whole season series finale.
Yes.
With that, Sarah had another idea. As far as a mechanic who has to deal with repairing everything after everyone's misadventures, that's pretty good too. Dealing with every time Poe Dameron or Luke has an encounter. Luke's X-Wing after he returns from Dagobah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, there's like a lot more room for like on-screen characters in the Rebellion side.
Yeah.
There's like so few in the Empire by comparison, or there like less happens with them, I guess.
That's true. Well, or you have to have literally like Darth Vader or somebody.
Right.
Which is like BJ is like nice to have an appearance every once in a while.
Yes.
You did a video and you had Ian McDermott in one of them. I saw.
Yeah, he didn't know that that's how it was gonna go down, but.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you have to like, because you don't get you barely get like a few seconds with people sometimes. So.
Yeah, it was cool. We were lucky. It was pretty chill that day. There weren't a lot of people in line. They weren't like, sometimes security people can, force you to move along and not, but it was super chill. They let us film while I was taking a selfie with him, and he was very nice. Sweet. Yeah. So
what convention was that?
This was at ICCC Con in Nashville last year. It's not this year, but yeah, last year.
Note, ICCC might let you record well.
Yeah. I don't know if they did that this year, but yeah, it was just a super chill experience.
When we some of my friends here that are went to the last 2 celebrations last year, the one in Anaheim, Ian McDermott like spoiled the fact that it was going to be in London next year like a couple days before they announced it.
Did he really? I didn't hear about
well,
that.
No, it was just to us because we were they got his autograph, and so we were chatting, and then he like mentioned that he'll be at the London event next year, and like, I don't think he knew that it hadn't been announced yet. I mean, it was 2 days before, but it was nice to like kind of get a little spoiler on that.
Yeah,
it's fun to be in the know, even if it's a little bit of time. Is it okay?
How was London? Because you actually went.
Oh yeah. London was so the convention itself. And friends can chime in here as well. The vibe was great. Like everybody there, just like in Anaheim. I mean, just everybody surrounded like with that love. 'Cause, the internet can be dicey as far as that's concerned. I mean, thankfully with TikTok and stuff like that, we've kind of developed our kind of positive like friendship community. But yeah, just being there is amazing. The venue was a pain because like they had these like hallways that you had to like get through. And it's so like it felt very narrow because there was all sorts of chairs and stuff like that in the middle. So you're like fighting people all the time to get somewhere. But once you got somewhere, it was fine. The first day was chaos. Like they didn't know how to organize anything or run anything with lines and stuff like that. But once it settled in, it was pretty spectacular. I did cosplay like I guess maybe 2.5 days. I did like Han bounding for one just to like be chill. But I debuted my Ahsoka cosplay there.
Yes, yeah, I remember that looked amazing.
I need to work on the makeup side. I need some things to adjust, but I definitely need more experience on doing that makeup. Sarah could attest to that. It was.
I have a lot of people that cosplay as Ahsoka or Hera or Aayla Secura, anything needing face paint or body makeup.
She did Hera the same day. Wow. I had I had my headpiece like Leiku on, and because of it, like my ears are covered, and I have no head movement. And then of course Sarah had headphones on because of her Hera. So basically we couldn't hear each other. And then oftentimes like when I'm somewhere I walk fast, so I tend to be like kind of team leader, not the person who makes decisions, just the person who walks in a direction. And so but then when they wanted to stop, they were trying to call me, but I couldn't hear anything, so I'd be like wandering off, and then I'd turn around, I'm like, where'd everybody go?
Oh no. That's the worst. And then, I'm sure the cell service was dicey because it always
was horrible. Yeah. And the Wi-Fi there at the event, it was like you couldn't do anything. Once people were on it, it was like once you made a video and tried to upload it, you're looking at it like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But so I did Ahsoka on the day the Ahsoka panel was gonna happen. So of course I get there, I had to get in line and try to get into one of the rooms. But by the time I actually got to do like videos and pictures and stuff like that, it was already like a lot of the day had already passed, so I was already in like starting to melt phase.
Oh no.
I know. Well, it was worth it because like the panel was fantastic, and getting to see like the extra trailer, the little extended trailer, getting to see like Thrawn's face.
Oh man.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, as far as comparing the two, like Anaheim and London, I mean, Anaheim they did so much more because it was the first time back in like a couple years. So like it was a lot more epic in that regard. Like they had the Mandalorian experience as well.
Right.
There. Yeah, but still, I mean, just
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But London was still fun. But then they announced like in 2 years it's in Japan. I'm like, oh man.
I know.
Right? You're just thinking like, oh, just the plane ticket alone. Oh,
I know.
man.
I was like, well, I'm not going to go to London because I'm going to wait till it comes back to the U.S. Yeah. And then like, oh, wait, that plan didn't work.
Everybody was hoping for like Chicago or Florida, Orlando or something, but no.
Yeah.
They went back to Japan. It's been there once before, I think. I'm still going to try to go. I've got almost 2 years to save up. Year and a half before I have to like drop that. One thing I realized though, as far as oh yeah, Sarah was saying the people were great. The venue was a shit show. Yes, definitely that. Yeah, that I kind of want to think of a character now that like I can get a citation for. Just to yeah. I don't know. I have to think about that. I've got a little bit, but I want to cause some trouble. Like, I'll think of something because I don't want you to know too much ahead of time. Cause,
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll think of something. But I do like the either the terrible Jedi or the mechanic. I'll have to like see what kind of costumes there are at like Galaxy's Edge. Just see if
You have the luxury of that being just right around the corner.
I know. I'm like I literally like live 15 minutes down the street. It's like just down that way.
Oh, awesome.
I know. People are like, "Are you there like every day?" I'm like, "No. I go there and I make a few videos and then I leave."
Oh. That explains a lot actually, because I'm like, man, does he just make like 100 videos? Like he goes like a couple days a month and just makes 100 videos and then like just releases them slowly, but that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that's essentially what unless it's like something just released, and then I try to get there and try to release that. But yeah, I try to go and make I try to get at least 2 to 4 videos if I can. But sometimes like trying to think like what else can I talk about here, finding content for that. But I've got a couple in reserve ready. Yeah. So yeah, now I have to. I'm going to be thinking all about skits now. That's basically
awesome.
what I'm going to be thinking about. Because I just love making. Because wanting to have been in film, I just love making projects and doing little film edits, even if like nobody. I know you're jealous, Margot, but I'm not going to apologize. Everybody needs to move to Southern California, and then we can create a local community here. Yeah, I'm just gonna be thinking about what kind of videos. I do have a green screen. I don't know if blue is better, but I do have a green screen that I can put up. I'm gonna feel terrible for my housemate that we'll have to have that set up.
I guess it depends what color lightsaber you have, or what color lightsaber your dead Jedi would have.
I have choices.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed as far as like blue on like cameras tends to get a little weird. Like at least on like taking pictures, blue kind of shows up a little weird. So, green tends to look pretty good in pictures. I definitely found that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it could just be like just using an iPhone is what that is.
Yeah.
Can I would like to play. Can I play one of your videos from Celebration last year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is first part. We'll find out.
My name is Dolores, and I work in human resources. The Empire's presence in Anaheim is a bit sloppy, so I'm writing up troopers for various infractions.
Excuse me, Mr. Krennic. I'm with human resources. You've been cited for choking on aspirations. Excuse me, I'm with human resources. You're not at your post.
I am not.
So I had to write you up. Committed a held in violation.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. I'm with human resources. You ate Vader's leftovers. Trooper. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm with human resources. You missed the target.
Overall, it was a very productive day, but unfortunately, there's a lot of work left to do.
So when you're there and you're in the moment at those cons, as far as like coming up with interesting things to cite people for, is it just like things just come to you then and you just kind of go for it, or do you like try to think about certain characters ahead of time?
So the Celebration ones actually, a bunch of I knew I wanted to do that, like go up and cite people, so I had asked friends on Instagram to like help come up with citation reasons, and so most of the ones from the Celebration videos were like a collaboration of people just sending in like, this would be really funny. So those were all like kind of canned, I guess, but now at cons, I try to have a list because I'm not always, I try to be quick, but like sometimes you can't always think of stuff, so I try to have a few in the, in reserve that I've thought of, just random generic stuff that would be like in an office setting, like burning the coffee or stepping on Lord Vader's cape. I wrote on a postcard today, putting Carillion quarters in the vending machine. So I'm going to try to remember that for a con.
Yeah. I in the moment, when you're trying to think of the thing, or like trying to remember the quote or whatever it is, that improv, it's like there's so much pressure. It's like when somebody asks you like, what is this person's name, and even if you've known them for 20 years, when they ask you, you forget.
Right.
So yeah, no, I having some things that you could dole out. Yeah, that's otherwise I'd just be I'd be jumbling my words basically the entire time. And then I'd get terrible takes. It'd be like recording a TikTok video, and then like it takes me 50 times to say one word.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I completely know what that's like.
And there's whenever making videos, there's always like, because recording by myself is always so weird. Like, like having grown up in theater and other things, like it's just me in a room alone, and I've got a camera. I'm just like talking to a camera. And I just start getting tripped up over a word. Sarah sometimes is in the other room, like, slow down. But sometimes there's just one word I just cannot say for the life of me. But that's okay. It's fine. That's the behind the scenes. Do you have any conventions you're actually coming up on or scheduled to be at?
Yeah, Dragon Con at the end of August. Labor Day weekend, I guess. It's in Atlanta. So
have you as far as I know, sometimes you team up with Jen and go to some of these things. Jen Markham, who I'm actually going to have on here in a couple weeks, which will be fun. But as far as when you two make videos at the cons, do you plan those out ahead of time? Because I've seen you make a couple with extra characters. At the we got to hang out back in March, and we planned to do a couple of skits there, so we filmed those, and then like at Celebration we planned to film, and so we did that. And then this time it was pretty on the fly stuff. We didn't really go into it having anything written, because we didn't know if we were going to have time. But yeah, we try to write. We've also been lucky and gotten to hang out like more than we planned the last few months, so we try to have something written in advance, if it's been, like 6 months since we've hung out or whatever. And usually she will write one and I will write one, and we'll kind of collaborate that way. I still like have like skits in my phone that I've like written that I wrote it, but then I just never did anything with it. Yeah, no, Sarah's saying, because Sarah's a speech therapist, so she's always judging me. No, not really judging me, just giving me advice. Because it'll take me like sometimes like 7-8 takes on just one word.
I have so much like Element 7, Darth Chaco. Like I have so much, and you too. Like I had to not do like talking to camera about Star Wars stuff because I'm so bad at it too. Like I get tripped up over words, and it would take me like 2 hours to make like a 30-second thing about 2 things from the show, and I'm like, this is like, I can't do this. I'm not made to do this.
And it's finding the flow. Like I realize I can't do like stream of thought. Like I have to do like 1 or 2 lines at a time.
Okay.
Because at a certain point I will get lost in where I was going with something, or I have to take it a little bit at a time. It's so weird that my commentary type stuff does better than just anything like entertainment wise. Like I'll put together some video and I'll spend however many hours on it, but I can't do a commentary thing and spend like 5 minutes on it, and then suddenly that one gets a lot. I'm like, well, at least people want to hear what I have to say.
Wait, you have good insight too.
It's that film side of things, but I will say being a part of this community has really helped me kind of, I guess, expand my my points of view, as far as like kind of getting to listen to other people talk about the fandoms, and getting to hear other viewpoints. And of course, like I come from the original trilogy time period, so getting to hear people that talk about the prequels and their love of that, it's really helped me kind of open up, expand as well.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah. Sarah says, it's called helping. Yes, thank you, Sarah. I want to play part 2 of the Star Wars Celebration because I love these, and I know everybody loves these, and it's horrible for you, I know, but.
Excuse me, Mr. Troopers. For not finding the droids, you're being cited for misuse of the trash compactor. That's not where you need to put all that mud. Excuse me, Lord Vader. I have to write you up for breathing too loud. We've received several complaints. Excuse me, officer, I need to write you up for a disturbing lack of faith, misuse of the brakes. Mr. Hunter, I gotta write you up for your paint job. Excuse me, Mr. Emperor.
Yes, of course, Dolores. How are you?
I got nothing to write you up for, sir.
Yes.
You're beautiful.
Oh, Dolores, stop it. You always flatter me and I love it.
He's just
That Grievous was amazing. Yeah.
I wish that we'd filmed him from the front, but he was always like mobbed by people, and we just didn't want to bother him.
Yeah, and seeing the some of those amazing cosplays when people put into that, I'm like, that's so much effort, and like how you get around all day. Again, I think now I'm going to be inspired to. I did like a rogue Jedi, kind of a Cal Kestis type of Jedi for May the 4th. I just like put it together in a week. And I'm like, okay, like, that kind of inspires me to start making original characters.
Yeah,
Which before it was, like, okay, be Captain Rex or be Ahsoka. But I do love the idea of original characters. Just adding something to the story.
It could be fun, too, if you could work on your dancing. Like, maybe the Jedi's really bad at Jedi stuff, but, like, this amazing dancer, and that's why they keep him around.
A Jedi who dreams of becoming a dancer.
Or something, I don't know.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm getting calls from more Dolores. See, whenever, again, embarrassing for a moment, but like saying that I was having you on, people were like, "Oh my God, I love Dolores." You're very popular. You're very popular amongst the kids. When I say kids, I mean anybody under 70. And anybody over 70 just relates to Dolores. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you, didn't you go to a premiere?
I did. I was super lucky to name drop Jen one more time. She got invited by Disney Plus to go to the Mandalorian premiere, and I was like, I was in disbelief when I got the text like, "Hey, do you want to go?" And I was like, "Are you Jeremy? Like, doesn't Jeremy want to go? Like, why are you asking me?" Jeremy's her husband, and he's in a lot of her videos. And so I was just floored. So yeah, I got to go with Jen to the Mando season 3 premiere, and it was raining, and they usually have the premieres like outside, and they kind of just herd you into the theater. But since it was raining, everyone was like kind of contained in this hotel lobby. That's where they did everything. And so like Jon Favreau was there, and Bill Burr was there. Like everyone came through that main way, and like everyone was kind of stuck there until they could get a car to go to the actual theater where they showed the
interesting
premiere. So it was this amazing, like, I still can't believe it happened kind of a thing.
I mean, being in a room like that, like how do you know how to people at that point?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we just stood there with our mouths open. I know, like, a couple days later, we were like, we really barely shot anything. We were in there for like an hour. How did we not shoot more? But I think we were just in such shock.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, meeting people who are like influencers and stuff like that, I don't really have a problem talking because I'm like, oh, okay, I have something. But when it comes to actual like actors or like things that I see on screen, like I don't know how to. I do not play it cool at all.
No, I did run right up to Bill Burr and ask for a selfie. I'm not ashamed of that because he is my favorite character in like in the live action shows. I wish he had been in season 3, but.
Oh man, yeah, his season 2 episode was fantastic.
Yeah, those are my favorites. He's so good.
Yeah, I've being in dancing, I've actually been around a certain amount of celebrities for different things. I've never once in my life been cool. There was one, I was at I danced for the Ocean's 12 premiere party,
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
if you think of how many stars are in that movie, think of how many stars would want to show up to that premiere. Like, I was in a ballroom with like every famous person. I didn't know what to say to I couldn't approach anybody or say anything to anybody. I went up to one of the bars in that ballroom, and like I was like just getting a couple napkins to I get shiny.
Yeah.
And Cuba Gooding Jr., who it turned out to be a horrible person, but came up next to the bar and comes up next to me and looks over at me and says, "Woo, what a party!" And so first of all, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like Cuba Gooding Jr. is basically the Jerry Maguire character, and all I knew how to do was say like, "Yeah, what a party." That's all I had. That is.
Well, that's playing it cool.
I guess I have not embarrassed myself.
Right. You were like, "Oh my gosh, I love your movie." You didn't say that or anything like that.
I've never fanned so much where like I've just completely and utterly embarrassed myself. But
yeah. So you played it cool.
Yeah, my friends can attest. Like I'm not gonna be like horribly awkward, but I definitely have that social awkwardness. Yeah, Sarah's anxiety freezes in response to like play it cool. But squealing like a monster. Yeah, I basically like I fan inside. So anytime like I see one of my heroes, like the one time I got to like shake Mark Hamill's hand, I'm like, oh my god, this is the Skywalker hand.
Wait, where did that happen?
This was years ago. This was almost like 6-7 years ago or something like that. At New York Comic Con.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, it was I know exactly. It was the lead up to The Last Jedi, because they were doing Last Jedi stuff. I was just there for a day and did the Mark Hamill picture. But it was like my one opportunity.
Man, I didn't realize you were still doing pictures that recently.
I think it was specifically because of I don't. It didn't seem like he would want to do it that much longer, because it's like you get the hordes and like everybody wanted a Mark Hamill picture, so like his lines were insane.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Worse than I saw at any celebration for anybody else's lines. But they do better at herding people in now, I think. But yeah, it was just to be like, oh my god, I'm touching Mark Hamill. Like internally.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a couple Star Wars things. Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
Rogue One.
Rogue One?
Probably Empire Strikes Back after that, but yeah, Rogue One for sure. That ending is like...
Oh,
it's so sad, but it's like the best... I don't know, the final 20 minutes are some of the best Star Wars, in my opinion.
You like Star Wars movies with sad endings. Or dramatic endings, I should say.
Yes, yeah.
All the drama. What about Rogue One makes it your favorite?
Probably just the Jyn Erso storyline, being a regular, like a woman that's regular, that's not a Jedi or a royalty, because we don't get that too often in Star Wars, and that she makes a difference in a and it's kind of tragic in a way that, the original trilogy, like we never hear of her again, but that's kind of like she served this amazing purpose, and I just kind of love that.
Yeah, they in a lot of the books, they definitely carry that legacy of Jyn Erso and talk about her as like that rebel hero. So anytime I'm reading a book and they mention Jyn Erso again, I'm like, oh, yay.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy to me that season 2 of Andor is going to be leading straight into where we start off in Rogue One.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that setup is. Speaking of shows, do you have a favorite, let's say, live action show?
Andor. They go hand in hand.
That's true. But I mean, Andor was just so well written and acted. I mean, I could watch the Andy Serkis moments just over and over again.
Yes, yeah. Another tragic episode, but so well done. Or that arc was just amazing, and just to have 12 episodes too, for them to have all that time to tell a story. Whereas, like, Mandalorian or Obi-Wan, they're like these abbreviated seasons. It's just so cool.
The fact that they actually they took their time to tell a story.
Yes.
And give us those moments. It was just a nice change of pace.
Yeah. What's your favorite live action?
Favorite live action? Oh God, it would toggle. I would say Andor as far as like just quality. Rewatchability. Mando is one of those shows where like I can binge a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because like Andor has that intensity. I haven't. Well, every time Andor came out, I saw the episodes like at least 2 or 3 times. So,
yes.
So technically, I've seen the show like a few times. But yeah, I'm gonna look forward to when season 2 is gonna be coming out to like go and binge all of that again. Have you watched any of the animated shows?
So I watched most of Clone Wars and some of Rebels, but not all of Rebels. But I probably should.
With Ahsoka coming up.
Yes.
How far into Rebels did you get?
Like 5 episodes.
Okay, yeah. No spoilers, anybody in the chats. Even though I'm sure you've heard a million spoilers, but
yeah,
it's worth it. It after those 5 episodes, episode 6 is great. I don't remember which one it is, but I'm just saying that. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. The second teaser for Ahsoka came out today, and people are losing their minds on the internet.
I need to see that. I have not seen it yet. Yeah.
Just some of the shots. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, like my whole like codename Fulcrum is all like based on Ahsoka.
Yeah. This is your moment.
I know. That's the whole thing. Like with the show coming up, I'm like, oh, I gotta work on my cosplay. Because that's the time it's going to be seen a bit more is when that's coming out. Sarah, I'm sorry. You're going to be having to help me with some stuff. But you're going to be Hera in some of it. So thankfully she's also a theater person, so
that's
shouldn't
good.
Shouldn't be too much.
Man, Hera looks awesome too from the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, every one of those characters I think are going to be well portrayed in live action. There's a book series with the Alphabet Squadron, and Hera is actually in those books, but like in like kind of sprinkled into the first 2 books, but like you see a lot of Hera in the last one, and just her being that like Republic general. Hera's the best. I know I got a lot of Hera lovers out there. I've got another video. Haha. Sorry, I prepared. This one. So you can look away now.
Okay.
Is this human resources?
No, Spantha bingo. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I want to be transferred to a TIE fighter. These speeder bikes are not safe.
And you think a TIE fighter is safer? Why?
Hey, you're surrounded by protective walls. You've got the seatbelt, the airbag.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but there's not an airbag in there. There's not even a shield.
What?
Neither is safe. It's a lateral move, and I don't want to do the paperwork.
But you have to agree, space is safer.
How do you figure?
There's no trees.
Yeah, there's no trees, but there's asteroids.
Asteroids.
Gotta love a good punchline. I mean, just the quality of those videos are great. Being from a production standpoint, seeing like the blue screen being seamless, applaud you for that, because like being used to like TikTok screen.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just and you're like you move and you fade out and you like I can't move. Oh no.
Yeah. It's good. I think I don't know. I think it helps people that don't like have the resources or whatever to have a blue screen or the patience or like editing software or what have you. It's great for that. So maybe I think, and it doesn't always bother some people. Like it doesn't seem to bother the kids, the quality. Maybe it's more of like a grown-up thing. I don't know.
It bugs me every time. Like I if I'm just doing like the kind of TikTok content, like it's fine, but like I see it and the perfectionist in me like hates it. Just purely from a geek standpoint, what do you use to edit? What do you edit your videos on?
Final Cut Pro or 10. I forget what it's called. I got it for free from work a few years ago, and so that's what I had during quarantine. I used to not like Final Cut as much. I was like a Final Cut 7 person. The style was totally different, and then then they changed Final Cut 10. some years back now, like maybe 10 years ago. And it's more like iMovie, and people hated it. But now I actually really like it because it renders the whole time as you're editing. So when you go to export, it only takes a few minutes to export, or seconds, as opposed to like Adobe, which can take a very long time if you forgot to render. So yeah, so I just prefer Final Cut.
Yeah, I was a Final Cut person for a long time, but that whole like rhythm relief, when I was doing that, I just had a MacBook Air.
Oh wow, that's
so
tough.
I had that, and I had it because I was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
But then when trying to do the show and like edit all these things, like man, my MacBook Air did not like that at all. So after that, then I saved up to get the PC, which I'm on now. But because being on PC, I'm using Premiere. But every time I go back and forth between like Premiere and Final Cut, I get lost. I'm like, wait, how do I use this one again?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it took me a little bit to get used to that iMovie type of format, and then moving to Premiere, like, because Premiere, like, it's like, you know, like everything with Mac is very user friendly. It's like they make everything very obvious, but when it came to Premiere, it was you had to like learn everything. I had to like Google a bunch of stuff as far as like how to do things. It's just like a blank slate and like good luck.
Yeah, or I'm constantly using the help function where you just type in the thing that you want to do.
And I used Premiere back in college, but that was many decades ago.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah, it's 100% different than it is now. I want to put this out there for anybody on the chat who actually has questions. But I also want to. So, not only do you send out postcards, but you also have merch.
I just made a Goofy shirt a couple of months ago. It says the Empire's best. Oh wow, you're so prepared, Nick. That's awesome.
I try. I can only do so much, but
yeah. So that's the shirt. The idea was that whoever buys it, you become the best HR rep when you wear it. It has been this, you know, I forget the crossover of people that do HR and love Star Wars. There's actually quite a few people. I've gotten some messages from people like, I work at HR and I love Dolores and I love Star Wars. And so that the shirt is also for those folks as well. And somebody actually bought this shirt and wore it to like at a university in Texas. And they actually work at HR, and they wore this shirt to like greet on like orientation day or something like that.
I love that. I need to get that shirt for myself. Going around and teaching workshops, like I basically wear geek shirts. That's kind of one of my shticks.
Oh
everywhere. But the best thing about that is like when I travel, like I get to like talk about dancing, but then also talk about Star Wars. People ask me about both of those, so I don't get pigeonholed into like one topic.
That's good.
Yeah, it's nice because you could be at a dance and then somebody asks you about Star Wars. You're like, yes, this is the life.
Yes.
I definitely need an HR one because that would be great in classrooms. Telling people what to do. And then I could hand out some citations. I like this.
Yes.
I like this idea. Dolores, I'm sorry. Yeah. As far as any current videos, do you have things lined up that you're gonna? You don't have to tell us what it is, just that you're gonna be working on coming up.
I have a couple. I goofed off with a bunch of people at this con this last weekend, so I'm still kind of polishing that, putting that together. So hopefully I'll release that tomorrow, I guess. Because that was a lot of fun. And then scripted stuff, I'm like kind of behind. There's a few collaborations I want to do, but I've just been so slow because I work full time as well. And so just trying to find the time to do all these things is kind of tricky.
Oh geez, and that because the videos that you put together, like unlike like me just like talking about a random like thing from a show, that just takes a few minutes to do and then post. But the things that you do, like how much time does it take just like for like say for example like the last video we did, how much time do you have to put into like producing that?
I think on average when I think about it, it's like, you know, an hour to write, well, that over time, maybe like half hour. I don't know. Uh, in total, probably about 6 hours from writing, shooting, and editing.
But that's all like spread out because like every time you have to set up for the shoot and
Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't do it all in one day, ever. I write it on one day, and then I sometimes will come back and edit and adjust, and then I'll shoot maybe one part on one day, and then I'll shoot the other part on another day, and then I'll edit it all together some other day.
yeah, for me, yeah, Sarah was saying I feel that working full time is totally overrated.
Yes.
Yeah, for me having kind of I have an odd job being a dance instructor, like with odd hours.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Like people were having like a meeting for something last night. I'm like, yeah, that's when I start teaching, like in the evening. But like that's like having like afternoons to be able to go to Galaxy's Edge or something. I just have the weirdest hours. I know I don't have like a clock in, clock out type of thing. But being around people with full time jobs, like I realize like, man, I have it easy. Like, I mean, obviously, like, when I travel, it's, like, it's constant from when you have to walk out the door to when you get back. Like, you're constantly on the go. But, like, my schedule is much easier than the average human for the most part. Yeah, I don't know how you find the time for a lot of that. How often do you tend to release videos?
I try to post something once a week. Usually more.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not always like the produced stuff. It's not, that takes a little more time. Maybe I'll do one or two of those a month, but I try to release something once a week. It might not be the higher quality or whatever, but if I go to a con, usually I'll have more videos just because there's more opportunity to shoot and more people to interact with, and you don't have to worry about doing the blue screen effects or any of that.
Yeah, like again, like for me, like I'm usually doing like one or two videos a day, but it's like a lot of commentary things, so it's not that I have to produce stuff. It's like talking about something. Always
but you
trying to
still
find a
come
topic.
up with you have to come up with the idea and then what you're going to say, and I commend you for that.
I mean, because there's only so many Star Wars things out there to talk about. Thankfully, with upcoming Ahsoka, that'll make it pretty easy. I've got like my Montrals over here ready to go. I gotta work on the makeup. The first time I did the full makeup was literally that morning.
Oh my gosh, that's brave.
Yes, and I definitely could have done the process much better. Because at some point with some of the painting on stuff, I needed Sarah to help with some of that, but I didn't do it in the best order, and she can attest to that. But it worked out fine. It was fine. Not for film close-ups, but just for cons. I also need to figure out how color looks on camera. As far as the orange, the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's tough. I do not recommend going into full makeup cosplays.
Yeah.
If you're out there, that's a pain. Do you have besides not just cosplay, but do you have a favorite character of yours? I mean, it might be Dolores, but do you have an actual favorite character?
Like one of the characters I've created, or
yeah, one of your characters. Yeah.
I think I really like the contractor person. I haven't decided if they're male or female yet. But they kind of have this southern accent. I live in the South. I've grown up in the South. They have the accent that every contractor around here has. And like we had a termite inspection today, and the guy sounded just like it, where it's just the southern accent. And I really like that character because it's easy, because that's like everyone around me. Or not everyone, but the contractor type.
I have to look. What video can I look up to find that contractor?
Oh, that's a good question. It's probably been a solid 7 months since I've done one. Dolores Hires a Contractor, I think, was one where she hires them to investigate the exhaust port.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So I need to do more with that character. But yeah, that's probably
put it on your list of like 50 things you already have.
Yeah.
To do this.
Yes.
Is there anything else? Because I know, like, I think you have a Patreon and you have some other stuff. You give me. I looked up your stuff with your stuff, so I knew what you have. But 'cause you got the postcards, you got the merch. Is there anything else that you have out there for people to look up?
No, I think that kind of covers it. Yeah, that's and then of course the social media stuff, but I tend to post the same stuff across all three.
Same thing.
Yeah, try to post more pictures on Instagram, but yeah, I think that's everything.
I just started, like, at the beginning of the year, like, actually, like, repost my videos from TikTok to Instagram. And then from the last, like, couple of places I've been to, I don't have anybody that's comes up to me and like, oh, I know you from TikTok. It's all been like Instagram or YouTube.
Really?
Like, yeah, so weird. And I don't have like I mean, I don't have a huge following in any of them, but the fact that I was getting that, it was mind-boggling.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
I guess those don't really necessarily, people just kind of stick to an app.
Yeah.
To find their stuff. Yeah.
I've noticed that.
I'll take it, but.
I've noticed that folks in the customing clubs, like the 501st Rebel Legion, they tend to be on Instagram.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know about the others, but that specifically, I've noticed that seems to be a correlation.
I just end up cross posting everything. It just takes up so much time.
It does, yeah.
Especially when I'm trying to like do these things daily, and that's what a lot of like my mornings are like, social media mornings.
Oh.
I don't recommend it.
No.
Find a better system for any of you who want to get out there and do it. Also, don't choose Star Wars. That is, there's definitely some people out there that like to express their opinions. Again, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you coming on and letting me embarrass you with Dolores videos.
You're so well prepared. This is like the best prepared podcast ever. So thank you.
I try. I'm trying to look professional, even if behind the scenes I'm scrambling. That's the industry, though. You know.
No, super cool. Thank you again for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And of course, you are our Sunflower Stardust on all the socials: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can find the videos there. And of course on YouTube, you can find compilations of Dolores things as well. Wait, I'm seeing a comment. Oh yeah, Sarah was saying a lot of historical costuming communities are big on Insta.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. But yeah, again, thank you so much. I know so many people love your videos and find a lot of entertainment in that. And bringing joy to a fandom that can sometimes be toxic is fantastic. And Sarah was saying it was so awesome to see you. But yeah, let me know. I hope to see you at events sometime, and not sometime before, like if we end up going to Japan. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, the question mark. But yeah, it'd be actually great to see you in person. But to actually finally get to actually talk to you and not just kind of see you in passing.
Yes, yeah, that would be cool.
It's a delight. Yeah. Again, thank you so much. Thank you all. And again, make sure you like the video. Share it if you can. And if you haven't subscribed, why not? You're hurting my feelings. But thank you. Thank you, Laryssa. And of course, we actually have Jen Markham. June 28th is going to be on. And we get to catch up with Jen. Again, same thing. Somebody I just get to see in passing. I saw Jen at Celebration, like, briefly. We happened to, like, be able to talk and catch up just, you know, moments before somebody else started to, like, big group. It was the No Way Out, that huge group of, I don't know if you saw videos from...
Oh, yeah, that looked amazing.
The Andor
prisoners?
Group. Yeah. We happened to be standing right next to them when they started that. And it got really loud really fast.
Oh, I'm sure. That's kind of hilarious, actually.
But it was cool to see that whole group go and just run. They were very dedicated. They were super dedicated, and I can respect that. Oh yeah, Sarah says come visit us in SoCal. You're always welcome in
Yeah.
SoCal. Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to come back to Disneyland.
Exactly. Yes. But yeah, message me if you ever do and make things happen. And Margot says thank you. But yes, again, thank you. I know I'm rambling. So I will let you all go. Thank you again, Sunflower Stardust on all the socials.
Nick.
And this is Fulcrum saying see you next time.